Before I begin the homily, I typically during announcement time will have instruction on the faith. And I thought since this is the beginning we have pre-Lent, to offer some instructions. So the question I'm going to pose to you is, we just recited the Ten Commandments. And so the second commandment says, thou shalt not make to thyself any graven image. So we're not to make graven images or have... at least we adhere to that second commandment because we're not to bow down nor worship them. So that being said, why is it that in Anglican churches you have quite a few images? You have even sometimes, you see the statue of St. Francis out there outside if you see it by that tree. Are we breaking the second commandment? Some Christians would say we are. And also the second most prominent religion in the world, which is the Islamic faith, they have no images or depictions of God in their mosques. So therefore, was this controversy settled at any time in the church? Yes, it was. In the early church, the last ecumenical council, when all the bishops around the world gathered, now I'm terrible with dates, but around the 600s AD. And so therefore they decided, is it okay to have images of Jesus Christ and of his mother, the Virgin Mary, and other saints in churches? And the answer came up to be yes. And the reason for that is that because Jesus, the very Son of God, the second person of the Holy Trinity, took on our flesh, our humanity, took on our form and walked among us, when we saw him, we saw God the Father, when we saw God the Son, and in flesh in our own humanity. So therefore, they said it is okay to have images of Jesus, since we have seen him face to face. Now, that being said, remember, even in the Old Testament, it was not prohibited to have images in the temple in Jerusalem or even in the tabernacle and when they're wanderings in the desert. There were the Ark of the Covenant. What was overshadowing the Ark of the Covenant? Was it not images of angels, the seraphims, the cherub? So you had those, and you also had imagery also in the tapestry in the temple itself. So the danger is when we see an abuse taking place in church, you can go to the other extreme and just completely throw out the baby with the bathwater. As Catholic Christians, we believe that all things in moderation. In other words, that beauty is not in and of itself a sin. If we worship it, yes. But we're called not to worship. Only when we worship is God and God alone. So that's why in Anglican churches it is beautified. There's all these images because they point to a deeper reality beyond the image into something which helps us focus on God himself. And so that's why we have them in our church. It's like if you were to go under a redwood forest and say, well, there's beauty here, so that's where, it's idolatry. Let's just level the forest. No, we don't do that. And so here it's okay. In other words, everything is meant to glorify and point to Jesus Christ and not only inside this church but outside the church, when all creation will be redeemed. And here's the starting point for that. Okay, that's my instruction on the faith. I think I did that in 3 minutes and 35 seconds, so it's not too bad.